The voice inside your head. Day 7. The voice inside your head. Welcome back to the 1% Better series. You've made it through an entire week. 7 days. 7 opportunities to become just 1% better. If you've been following this journey, something is already changing. Maybe not on the outside. Maybe nobody else has noticed yet. But inside, a new version of you is beginning to wake up. Today, we're going to talk about the most important conversation you'll ever have. The one that never stops. The conversation inside your own mind. Have you ever noticed that no one speaks to you more than you do from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep? There's a voice quietly narrating your life. Sometimes it encourages you. Sometimes it warns you. Sometimes, it becomes your biggest obstacle. That voice has incredible power. Because the words you repeat, eventually become the beliefs you live. Imagine hearing someone tell you every day, "You're not good enough. You'll probably fail. Why even try?" After enough time, even if those words weren't true, you might begin believing them. Now here's something surprising. Many people hear those sentences every single day. Not from strangers. Not from family. From themselves. Without realizing it, they become their own harshest critic. Every mistake becomes proof that they're not capable. Every setback becomes evidence that success belongs to someone else. Every challenge becomes another reason to doubt themselves. But what if that voice is wrong? Think about a courtroom. Imagine someone making accusations without evidence. Would a wise judge immediately believe them? Of course not. The judge would ask for proof. Your mind should do the same. When the voice says, "I'll never succeed," ask, "What evidence do I have for that?" When it whispers, "I'm not smart enough," ask, "Is that a fact, or just a fear?" When it says, "It's too late for me," ask, "Who decided that?" Most negative thoughts don't survive honest questions. Because many of them were never true. They were simply repeated so often, that they started sounding like facts. Imagine carrying around an old map. A map that shows roads that no longer exist. Bridges that have disappeared. Cities that have changed. If you continue following that outdated map, you'll keep getting lost. Old beliefs work exactly the same way. Maybe years ago someone told you that you weren't talented. Maybe you failed once, and decided failure defined you. Maybe you compared yourself to someone else, and convinced yourself you could never measure up. Those experiences may have happened. But they don't have to become your identity. Your past can teach you. It should never imprison you. Remember what we've learned throughout this series. Every action is a vote. Every habit shapes identity. The same is true for your thoughts. Every thought you repeatedly accept becomes another vote for the person you're becoming. If every day you tell yourself, "I always quit," eventually, you'll believe it. And your actions will follow. But imagine replacing that sentence. Imagine saying, "I'm learning to become consistent." Notice the difference. One sentence closes the door. The other leaves it open. One creates limits. The other creates possibility. The goal isn't to pretend life is easy. The goal is to speak to yourself with honesty and hope. Because the person listening is always you. Let's take this one step further. Imagine two seeds planted in identical soil. They receive the same sunlight, the same water, the same weather. Yet one grows into a strong tree. The other never reaches its potential. Why? Because what happens beneath the surface matters just as much as what happens above it. Your thoughts are like roots. No one can see them, but they determine everything that eventually becomes visible. The words you repeat inside your mind become the roots of your actions, and your actions become the roots of your future. That's why protecting your inner voice is one of the most important things you'll ever do. Many people believe their thoughts simply appear, that they have no control over them. That's only part of the truth. You may not control the first thought that enters your mind, but you always have a choice about the second one. Imagine standing at the front door of your home. You can't stop people from knocking, but you decide who comes inside. Treat your thoughts the same way. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your belief. Not every doubt deserves your agreement. Some thoughts are visitors. They arrive. They stay for a moment. Then they leave. Unless you invite them to stay. Think back to a moment when you made a mistake. What happened next? Did your mind say, "I failed"? Or did it say, "I am a failure"? Those two sentences sound similar, but they create completely different lives. The first describes an event. The second creates an identity. Never confuse what happened with who you are. Failure is something you experience. It is not someone you become. The same is true for fear. Feeling afraid doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. Courage isn't born after fear disappears. Courage is born the moment you keep moving despite fear. That's why your inner voice matters so much. It can either become your greatest coach, or your greatest critic. Imagine having a personal trainer who screamed insults every time you made a mistake. Eventually, you'd stop showing up. Now imagine a different coach. One who tells you the truth. Who corrects your mistakes. Who pushes you to improve. But who also reminds you, you can do this. Keep going. You're getting stronger. Which coach would help you grow? Become that coach for yourself. Speak to yourself with honesty, not with cruelty. Challenge yourself, but don't destroy yourself. Growth requires accountability. It never requires self-hatred. Here's something remarkable. Your brain listens carefully to the words you repeat. If every morning you begin by saying, "This is going to be a terrible day," your mind immediately starts looking for evidence to prove you right. But if you begin by saying, "Today is another opportunity to grow," your mind starts searching for opportunities instead. The world hasn't changed. Your focus has. And where your focus goes, your energy follows. Think about a camera. It captures whatever the lens is pointed toward. Your attention works the same way. Point it toward problems alone, and problems become all you see. Point it toward possibilities, and your mind begins discovering solutions. That's why changing your life often begins with changing the conversation inside your own head. Not through empty positive thinking, but through intentional thinking. Thoughts that are honest. Thoughts that are encouraging. Thoughts that remind you, you are still growing. You are still learning. And your story is far from over. Now take a slow, deep breath. For just a moment, listen to the silence. Beneath all the noise of the world, there is another voice. A quieter voice. A wiser voice. The one that has never stopped believing in your potential. The problem is, it often gets buried beneath fear, stress, comparison, disappointment, and the endless opinions of other people. For years, you may have listened more closely to criticism than encouragement. You may have remembered every failure, while forgetting every victory. Every compliment was questioned. Every mistake was remembered. Little by little, your inner voice learned to expect the worst. But today, that story begins to change. Not because your life suddenly became easier, but because you've decided to become more intentional about the words you believe. Imagine writing a new chapter. The first sentence matters. Every sentence after that becomes easier. The same is true for your thoughts. Replace "I'll probably fail" with "I'll give it my best." Replace "I'm not ready" with "I'll grow through the experience." Replace "I can't" with "I haven't learned how yet." That single word, "yet," has incredible power. It transforms limitations into possibilities. It reminds you that growth is still happening. That your current situation is not your final destination. Think about every skill you've ever learned. Walking, reading, driving, speaking another language. At one point, you couldn't do any of those things. Imagine if you had decided, "I'll never learn." You would have stopped before you even began. Instead, you practiced. You made mistakes. You improved. The same principle applies to every dream you still have. You don't need to know everything today. You only need to keep learning. Remember something important. Your inner voice becomes stronger every time you repeat it. If you constantly feed it doubt, doubt grows louder. If you consistently feed it courage, courage grows stronger. Every day, you are training your mind. The question is, what are you training it to believe? That challenges are impossible, or that challenges are opportunities to grow, that failure defines you, or that failure teaches you that success belongs to other people, or that success belongs to those who refuse to stop learning? The answer is created one thought at a time. One choice at a time. One conversation at a time. From this day forward, become more aware of the words you use when speaking to yourself. Protect your mind the way you would protect someone you deeply love. Because you'll spend your entire life listening to your own voice. Make sure it's a voice that builds you, not one that breaks you. Before today ends, catch one negative thought. Just one. Pause. Question it. Replace it with something honest, something hopeful, something that moves you forward. That single moment may seem small, but small moments repeated consistently create remarkable transformations. This is how confidence grows. This is how resilience grows. This is how self-belief grows. Quietly, patiently, one thought at a time. Thank you for spending another day becoming 1% better. Tomorrow, we'll continue this journey together. Day 8. Win the first hour. Until then, speak to yourself with the same patience, the same kindness, and the same belief that you would offer someone whose future truly matters. Because yours does.